Yo, 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 this is Marsha Douglas. What's up, brothers on tennis? I just wanted to wish you guys a happy 1-year anniversary. I'm so excited for you guys. I've been rocking with you all from the start, and I am excited to see what you guys have in store for the future.
Hi, this is Glenn Gilliam, and I just want to say major congratulations to Brothers on Tennis on your 1-year anniversary.
Hi, this is Nancy Everett, an avid fan of Brothers on Tennis. I wish to congratulate the entire Brothers on Tennis team, host Bryce and Isaac, and producer Chet, on their 1-year anniversary. Your dynamic trio has informed and entertained tennis fans. Thank you so much, Brothers on Tennis, and may you reach even greater milestones.
What's up, everybody? Yo, this is your boy Isaac.
And this is your boy Bryce.
And we are Brothers on Tennis. And folks, we are excited today. Because why? It's our anniversary. Whoa, anniversary. Why did I want to cue that up too? I wish I could. We had to talk to Howard, see if we can get some music excerpts up in this thing.
Now, you know what? That's okay. So first of all, to our podcast listeners, we are recording this 1-year anniversary episode on Locker Room.
Yes.
It's coming to you real soon. But when you hear us talking about Howard is the CEO of the Locker Room app, and I guess is at the head of a lot of the development that's going on with the app. And he told us last week, right, that we should be going live on the App Store, at least for Apple products, in the next 2 to 3 weeks, right?
Yes, he did. Exciting news. So it'll be nice for that to spread and get out there. And, you know, like I said, we'll be able to pull more of our folk in to the Locker Room setting. And then after that, I forget, he said maybe, about a month or so for the droids?
Yeah, well, he said it was going to be a couple of months.
Couple months. There you go.
Yeah.
Couple months. So, from a droid folks, because I do have a few of them, a lot of my family members are like, yo, why you hating on us? Not that we hating on you. It's just, due time.
Yeah, they gotta configure Locker Room app to still work for the people still using VCRs. So
Shame. I did not say that, folks, but hey, because as of December of last year, I was one of those folks. But I have come to the iPhone generation.
Right, well, you have seen the light, right?
I have seen the light yes, that is exactly right. So, brother, it is our 1-year anniversary.
Today.
How you feeling? Today. And yeah, folks, it is today. It's not like it was yesterday or it's on Friday. Today, last year, August 26th, was our official, go live, if you will. It was our official release. We were at the U.S. Open at the time up in New York, getting our U.S. Open on. Man, Bryce, it has been a year, man. I cannot believe how fortunate and how blessed Brothers on Tennis has been over the past 12 months, bro. Do you give us your thoughts? Give me your take on what we have done over these last 12 months, man.
Yeah, and I'm gonna take it back even a little bit before the start of the 12 months because I think just even the original idea was brought to us sometime in March of 2019. And so we quickly got on board with that, with our producer. And we then started kind of formulating a game plan. And we immediately came up with the concept of having a pilot group because this was our first time doing a podcast. There was so much for us to learn about the equipment and recording quality and not sounding like we got a bunch of marbles in our mouth. And, what would be the structure and so we started the pilot group. I believe it was in May, because I think our first episode was kind of like a preview episode of the French Open, right?
That's
French
right.
Open 2019, and then we had a pilot group of about maybe 16 people that we would share these episodes with, and they would give us feedback and And so we did that basically through the summer until you got till August the 26th, which was our very first, I guess, recording that we went live with the general public.
Mm-hmm.
And it was our preview show for the U.S. Open. And like you said, we were there in New York for the U.S. Open. And I'm going to say, what a difference a year makes in a bunch of different ways, right? We expected to be back at the U.S. Open, this year. And we know why we're not. But also, Isaac, talk about, once we got the podcast rolling in August, some of the very unique things that happened to us in this year that kind of got us to where we are today.
Yeah, man. It's so just ridiculous how things come together. And we won't get all religious on folk up in here, but I'm just a true believer that, God blesses and he sets certain things in motion. And it's really interesting because, Bryce, starting back where you were talking about at the US Open, at the Althea Gibson monument, if you will, which, by the way, shout out to Althea Gibson today. Well, we always want to give shout outs to Althea Gibson, but
right.
Today is just a special day in that regard as well. But in front of the statue at the U.S. Open at that time, who do we end up running into? Zena Garrison.
Right.
I mean, come on, you can't make these things up, folks. And the minute Zena, because we had our gear on, Brothers on Tennis, and the minute she saw it, she was like, Brothers on Tennis? She was like, oh, wait a minute. That's what we've been waiting for. And just the fact that we had someone like a Zena Garrison recognize that, and it in itself was just outright insane, because it was not something, again, that we were out looking, turning over rocks and things like that. It just happened. It was just a blessing. And to then be able to meet her and develop a relationship and rapport with her, I mean, that to me was the greatest starting point right there, bro. And we cannot forget Lenny Simpson as well, because I think we met Lenny before Zena, right?
We did, right.
Yeah, because I think that was on our second day at the Open. Lenny Simpson, who is over the One Love Foundation, that's also, I believe, based in New York, who was pretty much responsible for getting the statue. What do you call those? It's not really a statue, but it's of Althea.
It's like a bust, right?
A bust, yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, their group was directly responsible, because it was the kids in that organization that sent the letters off to the USTA, off to Katrina Adams, who was, of course, pushing to make that happen as well. And so for it to happen was just wonderful. So we got to talk to him over the lunch hour that we were there on, I believe, the second day, and just learning all about him and the fact that he actually, he played at the U.S. Open at, I believe it was age 15, and he was supposed to play Arthur Ashe, and just all the wealth of knowledge that he shared with us. I mean, that day was just that whole week was just wonderful for us to go live and be able to have those experiences. And in truth, Bryce, be able to walk around the U.S. Open with our Brothers on Tennis gear on and be recognized. And let's be clear, there were some folks that kind of, looked at us and gave us some side eye. But at the same time, I was like, hey, don't give us side eye. That's all right. Because you're noticing us. You're recognizing that Brothers on Tennis is something that's coming at you. Bryce, right. I'll hand it over to you.
Well, and I think it was even more than side eye, the number of people that we would catch, taking a picture of the back of our shirts where it had all the podcast platforms that we were, we were being hosted on. And so we were trying to give out like cards to people saying, here, come listen to us. And they're like, oh, we already took a picture of the back of the shirt. We've got all that information. We're going to check in. And so, yeah, just to piggyback on some of the things you said, speaking of Althea Gibson, who, the tennis great, the African-American who broke the color barrier at the major tournaments, her birthday was yesterday. And so her birthday will always coincide with one day before our anniversary. So we like having that connection. And then that One Love Foundation with Lenny Simpson, they're based out of Wilmington, North Carolina. So they had actually traveled up to New York as they do every year. And just like you were saying, Isaac, for us to just run, because we ran into them in like the food court.
Mm-hmm.
You know, actually, we had run into a lady who was taking a picture of the back of one of our shirts, and then she directed us to meet Lenny Simpson. So
that's right.
Just a lot of things kind of fell into place. Zena Garrison became like our tennis godmother.
Mm-hmm.
She has really been a great resource for us in terms of kind of getting our feet wet. And then I think we just started to find our groove a little bit. And just like in any industry, it doesn't matter whether it's tennis or podcasts or engineering or corporate America or whatever, the more you get out there and the more you network and the more you meet people, somebody knows somebody and that person knows a couple people and then those people know a couple of people. And before you know it, you get very excited because instead of you always reaching out trying to attract people to come check you out, you eventually hit a point where people start reaching out to you.
Right.
And so for us, when we look back at our first year, we feel so honored and so blessed to have had the number of people, not that we reached out to, but actually reached out to us and stated, yes, you are absolutely delivering a product that is desired out here. It's a product that is not currently out here. And to have sign-offs on that from a Zena Garrison, from a Chanda Rubin, from a Katrina Adams.
Katrina Adams, yep.
I mean, what better validation can you get?
Exactly, Bryce. Exactly. And it's just so wonderful to know and to be able to even speak that. And that to me is what really is a cornerstone of this 1 year anniversary is we've built relationships with some of the greats of tennis. I mean, those three names that you mentioned, it's like, yeah, they know who Brothers on Tennis is. They know they've said our name. They, hell, just case in point, we got an email today asking us a question from one of those big three. And it's like, how crazy is this, man? Man, oh man, it's just such an awesome blessing, bro. Man.
Right. I'm still salty that Roger Federer hasn't responded to my message to him. I mean, what is he doing? He had knee surgery. He ain't playing right now,
Right.
He's traveling around doing commercials with little girls on top of rooftops. I mean, this Brothers on Tennis. Coco Gauffin already called him out for his limited support of Black Lives Matter. This was an opportunity for him to step on up.
So, exactly. What's up, Roger? Come on, man.
So, Roger, I accept you being late, but you can still go ahead and give me that call, though. Because we got things we need to talk about, and I'm sure our fans want to hear about it.
That is exactly. You better go and preach, man. Go and say it. Go and put it out there, Roger. Shoot, you ain't doing nothing. Come on here.
But
go ahead.
To kind of bring this together, when we all first started talking about this, we recognized that the sport of tennis, in terms of its viewership, has changed over the years. And where it had typically been just very traditional, a sport of the elite. And don't get me wrong, it's still a lot of that. But we have seen major shifts in that in tennis. But you haven't seen, those same shifts necessarily happen in the coverage of the sport. The coverage still remained very traditional, very formal. Let's not step on anybody's toes. Let's not have too urban of an opinion. And we knew there were tennis fans out there that were like Isaac and I, that when the two of us got on the phone and we would start talking about, the game and the sport and not just as fans, but as players as well, we would be cracking ourselves up, and we always felt like somebody else should be listening to this. And so we have definitely gotten that validation that there is an audience out there that appreciates this. We did go into this with the understanding that we weren't going to be the option for everyone.
Right.
You know, and
Yep.
so it is perfectly okay for people to still want that very traditional and pristine type of tennis coverage. And for those people, thank goodness the Tennis Channel is around. You know,
That's right.
and we're not trying to compete with the Tennis Channel.
Nope. Nope.
But for those people that want maybe just a little more flavor, you know, that aren't so overly concerned with, you know, if the USTA going to come holler at us, or you know, if the French Open
Right.
going to get mad at us, you know, that our podcast is not what's putting food on our table. We felt like we had an opportunity here.
Well, yeah, and I'll piggyback on that as well, Bryce, because that's been the awesome thing about this is that, again, our goal was to bring something new. Well, I shouldn't even say something new, because we just basically saw that how we analyze tennis, how we talk about tennis is a lot different than what's on the TV screen. And we felt that there were others that also kind of thought and talked about tennis the way that we did. So we were like, yo, let's put something out there and just see how this goes. And you know, it's kind of speaks to how tennis and how everything is really just evolving. And I'll tell you guys a little secret for those of you who are on Locker Room, as well as our podcast listeners who will be listening to this. Our thought, and this was something that Bryce and I and Chet as well, Chester, who is our producer, kind of talked about even before we got into this. And this has been like a year plus in the works, folks. But there is or was a show. And I don't know if any of you who are listening is aware of it, but there was a show called Desus and Mero. And it was just two guys who were basically talking about just sort of the state of the world. So it was kind of like a TMZ on steroids, if you will. I mean, they would just talk about things, and it was just hilarious. And I loved how they spoke about it, because it was like they wasn't pulling any punches. They were putting it out there, giving their position, giving, their thoughts on it, and they were unapologetic. And I think a lot of what we've tried to do with Brothers on Tennis has been to sort of follow that type of a model. And I think that that's why we have such enjoyment with this, and why others have given us feedback that, they enjoy what we're putting out there, is because what you're pretty much hearing, that's pretty much authentic Bryson Isaac. I mean, this is us. And this how we do. So, it can be a little hood at times. It's always going to be a little bit funny, because I think both of us we just naturally just find silliness in certain things, and in tennis especially. I'm sorry, folks, shit funny. It's funny. Right. You are hitting a yellow ball, kind of like Nick. What did Nick Kyrgios say that to Fernando Verdasco? Dude, yeah. All you're doing is hitting a yellow ball. So it's like, stop taking it so serious. Find some laughter, and let's get some joy up in here. And really and truly, folks, that is what we've just always been about, is just trying to bring some enjoyment, bring some fun, not only for ourselves, but again, those who are listening. So, if you didn't know a little bit of our background, that's kind of sort of where it came from. So if you haven't seen an episode of Desus and Mero, go out and try it. It'll be interesting.
I will say they are on Showtime now.
That's right.
And although it's still a good show, back when they were on what's the show? The
wasn't it TV Land?
No, it's not a V.
Viceland?
Viceland, yeah.
Yeah, Viceland.
When they were on Viceland, it was more raw.
Yeah.
There. And I get it. You get on Showtime and things get polished up a little bit more and all that kind of stuff. But if you get an opportunity, go back and watch some of their old shows when they were on Viceland. And to me, that was, where they were at their absolute best. So anyway, we just want to say thank you to everyone that has supported us as a listener, as a follower, the comments that we've received over this past year of encouragement. I must admit, the tennis community as a whole has been just amazing. We've been able to get interviews with some key people. We've only been blown off by one person, and I'm not going to name her.
Ghost.
She's a former tennis player.
Ghost.
That's a commentator. But she told us she was going to come on the show, and she told us how to get in contact with her, and she just ghosted us. And it's sad because I really used to like her. And now every time I hear her voice, I heard her voice today. Whenever I hear her, it kind of turns me off now, because I guess because of the response we've had from everybody else, and this is just the way I am in general, and I don't care if it's in business or not. If you're going to do something, say you're going to do it. I mean, if you say you're going to do it, just go ahead and do it, right? And don't do this whole ghosting thing and not returning messages or you never really meant to, or even if you have to come back and say, you know what, I'm sorry. I know I originally said I want to do it. I listened to y'all's show. I think y'all show is whack, so I don't want to be on there. I mean, at least
even that's okay. Yeah. Be honest. Be straight up, because we'd be like, all right, cool.
At least do that. But I'm glad to say at least she has been the only exception to that.
Right.
Everybody else, and I'm very proud to say this tennis community that we include ourselves as a part of, they've just been a very supportive and welcoming community, and we're so very appreciative of that.
Absolutely. And folks, I mean, unfortunately, the pandemic hit, and Bryce and I had lots of plans to get out there and have a physical presence at some of the tournaments, and I think that tends to make play a difference with some people as well. When you're actually physically in a space with them, it kind of allows them to kind of see more of who you are and what have you. So it was a bit unfortunate that when the pandemic hit, of course, all the tournaments and everything were shut down, and so all of our travel, of course, was canceled, and who knows when that's going to resume. But our hope is to continue to evolve Brothers on Tennis. Get out there and actually physically be at tournaments, meet some of these people, meet tournament directors, and just, learn a bit more around, just the ins and outs, if you will, of tournaments and the sport as a whole. And again, that way we can come back and we can share that information with the audience and just give more people more insight into this great sport that we enjoy. So definitely looking forward to more of that in the future. But like I said, Bryce, we've come a long way, brother.
We have. And I promise you, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the results that happened at the Western Southern tournament this week. But before we get to that, we'd like to call up a couple of people to join us. One of those people, well, first of all, let me bring them up. One of those people is Howard, who is the CEO of the Locker Room app. And we also want to bring up Mitchell, who is also, I guess he's a senior advisor with Locker Room. I thought he was the CTO, and then I thought he was the marketing guy. And then I guess I got it all wrong. But we'd like to call them up to join us because they are part of when we start talking about, okay, so what do we do for year number 2? What's on our plate? What are some of the things we're going to do? So in addition to continuing to give you that very real, robust, up-to-date spin on the tennis results on the professional tour, we're going to start giving you some different types of access to us. So, Mitchell, I see that you've joined. Howard, I don't know why you've not come up yet. But Mitchell, introduce yourself. Talk to us. What's going on?
Yo, thanks for having me. How's it going?
What up, Mitchell?
I'm preparing for this hurricane that's about to smack the Houston area.
That's right. You all right, man? Yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah, man.
So, Mitchell, is the hurricane supposed to hit Houston directly, or are you guys just going to get maybe some effects from it?
I think just some effects. I think it's going to be a little further east, like on the Louisiana border. So it might just be like power outages and some wind, like maybe some bad wind, but we'll see.
Okay. We have a question here, and someone said, "Is this a dumb question?" They wanted to know: do hurricanes typically hit Houston?
Yeah, it's not the most uncommon thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we are definitely hoping that you stay safe, and
That's right.
glad to hear that you don't have to evacuate or anything like that. Just maybe hunker down a little bit.
Exactly.
Greetings,
Thanks.
brothers.
Yo, what up, Howard?
How you
Hello,
guys doing?
sir. We are good. So we were just introducing the two of you, and this is kind of a new relationship. Probably is it about a couple months old now.
Right.
We wanted you to share with our listeners. How did you first become aware of Brothers on Tennis?
Oh man, I've known about the brothers for a while now, as Mitchell probably mentioned. But sorry, I got a phone call when you first requested me. But it all started. I think I liked something on Instagram. It might have been a Coco Golf post or something. And you guys, sorry, I liked the post. And then a couple minutes later, I had a new follow on Instagram, and I saw it said Brothers on Tennis. So I thought that was hilarious. So I sent the account to Mitchell, like, these guys somehow found me. And then the rest is history. We've been sending each other brothers posts ever since.
Yes, sir. Oh, that is awesome.
So can you talk a little bit, because this is being recorded as a podcast, so it's going to go to our normal weekly listeners. Can you give a little spiel about Locker Room and when it's coming and what it's all about, and maybe what are some of your thoughts about how tennis will play a role on Locker Room going forward?
Absolutely. First of all, I'm laughing at any of your listeners who are listening to this 24 hours from now, because they should be on Locker Room experiencing it live. But Locker Room is, it's exactly what it feels like, I guess, which is a new live audio-based social network for sports fans and insiders to connect with each other, to talk about everything that's going on in the world of sports, from games and matches to news to rumors to trades to the Coronavirus for Everyone tour. It's a place for, if you know something about sports and you like listening to people who know what's going on, it's the best place for you to be. And I think the beauty of it is, you get to experience it in real time with other fans. So there's no more, watching a game end and then having to tune into your favorite podcast the next day. You can watch a game end and immediately jump on with a bunch of other people who saw that crazy shot and talk about it with them. And as far as tennis goes, as the founder of the company, and a personal tennis player, I'm very, very excited to watch the tennis community grow on the platform. And, as I mentioned to you and you guys in person when we played, you're going to be one of the anchor voices, I think, in the tennis community on this platform going forward. So I'm excited to watch the perspective on the sport.
Howard, I think we got you kind of jumbled up there in the last 2 seconds of whatever you just said.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I was just saying I'm excited that the tennis community will grow on the platform, and it'll be growing from your guys' perspective as some of the core voices in the sport on the platform.
Perfect. Well, we really appreciate that, Howard, man. It has been such a pleasure, just getting to know you and being on the Locker Room platform. And yeah, we hope to do our part to really make this a successful tool going forward. It's it's such a great, just thought and overall process as it relates to enjoying sports and being able to talk with like-minded people about, again, any of the sporting events that you either are watching or have seen. So this is very cool, my man. Very, very cool.
Absolutely. We're glad to have you. And I'm going to hop off the stage because I have bad service, but which is why I'm choppy, but it was great to jump in.
Okay. Well, if you jump off, we're going to let Mitchell speak for you because, Mitchell, don't leave. We're going to come back and talk about the tennis from last week. But one of the things that I want to make sure that our listeners, that you don't miss, is that Howard talked about a real-time component to the shows that are on Locker Room. So where our normal listeners are used to, like you're saying, 24, 48 hours after we record, they can then go and listen. Well, one of the things that Isaac and I are really looking forward to doing is there's the concept of a watch party. And that's where we're going to try to find some matchups during the U.S. Open, even coming up next week, where it's a highly contested match, has maybe a lot of star power. And Isaac and I are going to jump on, and we're going to talk about it live while the match is going on. It could be considered a form of commentary, or it also could be just very real live reaction to, what's going on. So, Isaac, any thoughts about kind of expanding the type of shows that we're planning on doing?
Yeah, I mean, that to me is going to be so much fun as far as, getting folks online, again, talking about a match as it's going on. That's going to be a lot of fun. It will be very interesting to kind of work through that, kind of work through the dynamics and see how things are going. But I personally am extremely excited about doing it and just experiencing, again, kind of that virtual. It's kind of like you're at a sports bar. It's a virtual sports bar. So, you go off and you get your popcorn and what have you, and you get on the locker room and we all just sort of watch it and ooh and ah as it relates to certain shots that are hit. And yeah, to me, I just think it will be a hell of a lot of fun, man.
Well, our listeners know, Isaac, that you and I are both based here in Orange County, California, Southern California. And Howard is in Southern California as well. He's up in the LA area. Mm-hmm. Mitchell is in Houston, as we've heard, preparing for this hurricane coming through. But he was out here for the last couple of weeks. And so we got an opportunity to meet Howard and Mitchell in person, which was great because it's nothing like meeting people in person, no matter how much you've talked to them on the phone.
And Kelly, shout out to Kelly, because I see Kelly Mack out there. What up, Kelly?
Yes, we did get a chance to meet Kelly as well, who we've seen often out here on Locker Room. But to our surprise, or not surprise, because they told us, but all three of them are tennis players.
Yes.
I'm still amazed that Kelly says she's only been playing for a year. And how well she was hitting. And then all I'm going to say about Howard and Mitchell was you had power and finesse, right? So
yes.
Howard was bringing that laser two-handed backhand across the court. And then you had Mitchell. I saw all that Nick Bollettieri influence, two-handed top spin backhand, top spin forehand, and wheels around the court. So,
no, Nick, I cannot claim Nick Bollettieri. I'm sorry. I disavow.
He's like, no.
So last time, Howard said, okay, we're going to talk about the tennis the next time we get on. So we didn't actually play a match or anything like that. We got on the doubles court and we hit. And so you had Isaac and I on one side, and you had Howard and Mitchell on the other side. And I think we, for what was it, about an hour and half, maybe almost an hour and a half, we just threw a whole bunch of junk out there on the court. And did what we could do.
That's right. Had a lot of fun, though. I tell you what, you guys can play, man. Mitchell, you and Howard got nice game, man. Very nice game.
No, you guys were impressive. It was fun to just hit. I was totally cool not playing a match. I was just was just happy to hit with you guys.
Yeah.
I think you're being very kind. Bryce had a game. Isaac's game was straight up crap. But Bryce was playing some ball. I was even surprised. Like, look at Bryce showing out. Go ahead.
Yeah, Bryce, you could play.
Bryce was playing well for the first 15 minutes. If you notice, there was a drop off of my shots after the first 15 minutes. But
oh man,
no, it was good. And I'm gonna tell you what. One of the things that we are, now you talk about aspirations, right? One of the things that we aspire to do, and when I say aspire, maybe it won't be next year, but I'm hoping the year after, we want to host some sort of tennis, either charity event or tennis invitational or something, because one of the things that we want to make sure we do with Brothers on Tennis is, it's part entertainment, right? It's part news, but it's also part education, and we also want to put ourselves in a position to give back as well.
Absolutely.
So there are plenty of deserving causes and charities out there that I think we can help be kind of a bridge to having the tennis community help support. So we're hoping if we are able to host those type of events that we have Mitchell and Kelly and Howard and any others out there to come and participate.
Yeah, I'll be there.
And that's why we love Mitchell.
Yeah. So Mitchell, are we going to get you to move to Southern California, or are you a Houston guy for life?
I don't know about for life. I mean, we'll see. I don't. Probably not soon, but I wouldn't. I don't want to say never. I mean, we'll see. That's I like right. Southern California a lot. California.
Can you guys hear me better now?
Yeah. You sound good, Howard.
Perfect. I just wanted to double click on the part where you said we displayed power and finesse. I think you're right. No, it was a huge pleasure playing with you. And Isaac, I don't like how you're hard on yourself. You were balling.
No. Because see, this is what's up. So Isaac is getting himself together, which is a good thing. But at the same time, my game is not where it used to be. And Bryce knows that. Bryce is just being nice. I do not typically make that level or that amount of mistakes. So no. But when you come back, let us be clear. When you come back, Isaac's game will be tight, and it will be where it was, if not even better. So I appreciate y'all being nice, but no, Bryce was hitting the ball nice. Isaac was not.
Well, what I will say is, because Isaac and I said this after you, Howard, and Mitchell and Kelly left. You know how you can see somebody play and you can tell they haven't played for a while, but you see the game that's there. And like if they started playing like consistently again, that's Howard and Mitchell, right?
That's exactly.
If they were playing even just once a week, you see the game there. So probably what's going to happen is, for all of us, the next time we get together and play, it'll look a lot different.
Oh, it's going to be hot. Because I can tell you what, that backhand that Howard possesses, whoo, that thing's scary, y'all. I'm trying to tell you. It's scary.
Oh, man, I'm excited. I'm excited for the next time we play. And you hear that, Mitch? We have homework. Now we need to play once a week.
Because I got scared for Mitchell, because Mitchell's so fast. I remember when he ran for that drop shot, and he liked to do the whole 5 heartbeat slide underneath under the net.
It was like a Djokovic slide without the COVID.
There you go.
That is too funny. Well, like I said, you guys in locker room are a huge piece of our 2020, 2021 and forward plans. So,
yes.
Just we mark this up as just another success, another just very impactful relationship that has been developed. gosh, Isaac, within our first 12 months of being live.
Exactly. Once again, blessings for this one anniversary, man. We've had so many great things happen, and know that locker room and meeting you all have definitely been a part of that. So thanks a lot, fellas.
Hey,
Yeah,
man,
thanks.
thank you.
All right. So that we don't completely upset our listeners, we're going to go ahead and actually talk some tennis. You know, we got some listeners right now that are like, you know what? I turned to this to hear about what's going on in the Western Southern, and we're 40 minutes in, and all I've heard is about the 1 year anniversary.
Right?
So we're going to do that. So as most of you know, the Western and Southern Open, which is typically played in Cincinnati each year, was moved to New York as a warm-up specifically for the U.S. Open. And so we had, some really big names that were entered in the draw. Now, typically what Isaac and I do for each tournament is we will give you kind of projections. We'll say, we expect these people to make it to the semifinals, the finals, and this is who we kind of predict will win the tournament. We made it very clear last week, and I'm so glad that we did, that the state of the game right now is up in the air.
It's bonkers.
Right. I mean, you have players that haven't been playing for 5 months. You have, the pressure of playing after that time. People have, changes to their games. They have new coaches. People still got the Rona, in their minds, and,
right.
Having to deal with being in the bubble and, not, trying to break out the bubble like Danielle Collins. And, it's a lot to deal with right now. And so, and some of these players that are entered, we hadn't seen to this point because they had not played any of the exhibitions or they hadn't played any of those lead-up type of events. So, Isaac, talk to us. What has this week been like at the Western and Southern in New York?
Well, I tell you what, Bryce, it hasn't been much different than what we predicted. We thought that there were going to be some pretty crazy results and pretty crazy, upsets, if you will. And didn't even want to call them upsets because, again, folks are just trying to, get some rhythm, get back into the swing of things. But, yeah, there have been some things that have popped off that I've been kind of shaking my head to. And where I will start is Dominique Thiem. Dominique Thiem apparently was looking real hungry and famished when he jumped on the court because Krajinovic was like, you know what?
You look hungry.
You look hungry, friend. I'm going to give you this breadstick and this hoe biscuit and send you on your way. How you going to take the number 2 seed and give him a breadstick and a hoe biscuit and send him on, Bryce? You have to help me. You have to help me understand that.
Well, I don't know if our listeners remember, but I've been saying for a while, they have commented that Dominique Thiem, I think he had played almost 40 matches before the Western Southern and all these different exhibitions. He's pulling out of one exhibition to go play in another one,
right.
Because he went from the coronavirus for everyone tour over to UTS.
Yep.
And I've been saying, I was like, that's all well and good, but don't get to the U.S. Open and get pimped out in the first round.
Exactly.
And so let's hope that Dominique Thiem, just kind of shook this one loose. But for someone of Dominique Thiem's ability to get beaten that badly, and don't get me wrong, Krajinovic has a good game, but he shouldn't have no whole biscuit and
breadstick score.
Breadstick type
Never.
game over
Never.
Dominique Thiem.
Never. That's just Dominique Thiem not showing up or having no energy or something. But no, he does not get beat 2-1. And I recognize Krajinovic is probably hyped because remember, he did beat Djokovic on the Corona for Everyone tour.
Right.
But that still does not mean he should be stepping up on Thiem and beating him like that. And mind you, he also then came back the next round and beat Fucsovic and gave him a breadstick and whole biscuit. So apparently he's like, everybody need to get fed up in this joint.
And he's actually on the court right now with Raonic.
Gotcha.
And he took the first set 6-4, and he's serving at 5-6 in the second set. So
yeah, how about Raonic, man? How I remember you was kind of busting on him like he had some extra corona weight on him. Apparently, the extra weight must be doing him some good.
It must be doing good for him because I wasn't the only one. The commentators were busting on him too. But maybe that extra weight did him good.
Exactly. Sometimes a little extra weight, helps.
Yeah. Maybe he said thick ain't bad. So but you know what? But here I'm gonna say one more thing about Krajinovic.
Yeah.
We tend to focus on people saying, how has this break with the coronavirus negatively impacted players, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There is going to be a group of players that will have a positive impact from them.
Oh, yeah.
People that actually went out, worked on their games, maybe fixed some things that were broken.
Right.
Maybe they were a little burnt out and they got, refreshed. Maybe they had a nagging injury and they had an opportunity to let that heal. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Krajinovic is going to come out here and win the U.S. Open in a couple of weeks. But he could be somebody that we see going forward, that is finally taking a step forward in his career because we know that he has struggled with injuries in the past.
Right.
And maybe he's in a spot now where he's finally healthy and can play his full game.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, you just never know. But I tell you what, he is definitely going to take some confidence out of beating the number 2 seed and number 4 player in the world 2-1. He definitely will take some confidence out for that. That's for sure. I tell you what, Bryce. Now let me just go on ahead and jump on to somebody else who I am just extremely impressed with, and I'm just very hopeful for because we were talking about Raonic and he lost to Raonic, but I'm gonna tell you what, that damn Andy Murray. Listen. Andy Murray is looking good, bro. Andy Murray was getting around that court. He plays Zverev. Just the first round against Tiafoe was a really good match. He jumped up on Zverev, which is not really surprising because everybody jumps up on Zverev.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But, dude, he looked good. His movement looked good. His game always looks good because he got every shot. But, right. Andy Murray looked good. And I honestly think that he's going to cause some damage in this U.S. Open. And here's the reason why. You're going to get a day off in between these matches. I think Andy Murray just got tired. Yes, and I think he got to Raonic because he played a 3-setter against Tiafoe. He played 3-setter against Zverev. And then he was like, shit, y'all, I'm tired. And he lost and got 2 hoe biscuits, 2-2 to Raonic. but I'm going to tell you what. You give Andy a day to rest and recuperate. Listen, y'all, you better watch Andy Murray. If Andy Murray gets a favorable draw, you might be seeing Andy deep into that second week because I'm telling you, he looked good, bruh. He looked good.
Well, and something that you can never discount is, the history of a champion.
That's right.
So Andy Murray is going into the U.S. Open like, I done did this before. So he doesn't have those kind of mental issues of, am I going to be winning my first Grand Slam? Am I going to win my first U.S. Open? He's already done that. So he doesn't have that kind of pressure on him. Andy already knows he's in the Hall of Fame. So
exactly.
He doesn't have that kind of pressure on him. I do think he still needs, like you said, a favorable draw.
Right.
I also think, he needs, to have these matches kind of spread out, like you said, because he was definitely gassed against Raonic. But absolutely, he's not somebody that I want to look up and see in my section of the draw.
No, sir. You really don't. You really, really don't, man. So yeah, those were. There was of course a lot more, but those are kind of the 2 that I was just like, what? How about you, bro? Anything jumping out on you for the men at least? Because the women got all kinds of stuff we could talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk on women. It's good to see RBA is looking good again. He had kind of dipped there a little bit at the end before the corona situation kicked in.
Right.
I'm telling you what, Tsitsipas looks good.
Yes, he does. He was like, anybody scared of y'all tall bitches? He got a hold of Isner and Kevin Anderson. He was like, you tall son of a bitch. Anybody scared of you?
and you know, and he was working it out on Opelka today before Opelka had to retire.
Yeah.
Which I know has to be frustrating for him. But I think Tsitsipas is looking really good. I think Medvedev looks good. Now, Medvedev ended up losing today to RBA after he gave him a breadstick in the first set.
Right.
But look, once again, like we said last week, I am not completely certain that all these players are trying to necessarily win the Western Southern.
Right.
And I think potentially Medvedev, you know, he had two really good matches. He came out there, he breadsticked RBA, and you know, tomorrow's Thursday, he's good.
Yeah, right.
So I think those players look good, but I will tell you who I am still concerned with, though.
Okay.
I thought that was a horrible loss that FAA took.
Okay. Now, first of all, anyone that loses to tennis Sanger need to be punched. Anyway. But you are exactly right. And he really it's again, it goes back to what we talked about with FAA. It's the double fault. He is just, I don't understand how you can come off of this type of a break and your serve not be right. I mean, that's the one thing you could always go out and do. You could do that every morning is get your serve right. And he is still tossing in those double faults. And it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Right. I'm starting to get a little concerned for him. Because I'm not seeing the improvement in the areas that he needs to improve happening. And for me, once again, like I'm going to continue to say, this whole Corona time that they had off was a great opportunity for him to work on those items. So it's very disappointing to see here we are 5 months later.
Yep.
And you still have the same issues. So you know how I do. Don't get me wrong. It ultimately comes down to the player. But at a certain point, you got to start giving a little side eye to the coach.
That's true. It's very true.
You know?
Because I mean, again, this is something that, you know, he's young in his career and you don't want that to be a staple, you know, because then you start getting the yips and all this other craziness starts happening. And that's the one thing that we just don't want for him. But it's disappointing though.
Right. And Rihanna's just won that second set, so they are split, him and Krajinovic.
Oh, Krajinovic, okay.
Split one set apiece. So
nice.
So we basically are at the semifinals now. So at the top of the draw, we have Djokovic, who will play RBA, which will be actually a very good match.
Yes, because RBA does. I don't know if he owns the lead on Djokovic, but he's won at least the last like 2 or 3 of the matches that they've played.
Right. And if Djokovic still has any problems with that neck, if that was ever an issue or not.
Right.
RBA will be somebody that's going to test that neck.
That's very true. He will test that neck.
Right. And then at the bottom, you have Tsitsipas, who will play the winner of Rihanna and Krajinovic. Now, I expect for Tsitsipas to get through.
For sure.
Whichever one of those wins.
Right.
And it will be interesting to see that. I mean, so who we have left in the draw, we're going to have entertaining semifinal matches, and we're going to have a good final.
That's right. I think it'll be good. Yeah, either way, it'll be good.
That's going to be interesting. So I'm gonna just let you go ahead and kick it into gear on these women because. And I'll give you the lead in.
Okay, go for it, dog.
So our first disappointment, which implies that there's more to come. Our first disappointment is when Kim Clijsters had to pull out or made the decision to withdraw from the tournament before it started. And look, like we've been saying all along, you know, the goal is not for anybody to look back and say, "Ooh, I won the Western Southern this year."
Right.
The goal is the U.S. Open. I'm sure she talked with her team. They were like, you know what? Practicing is going well. No need to do anything dumb this week. We're here. We're practicing on the court for the U.S. Open. Save yourself. You'll get back to the tour next week. So
exactly.
Wanted to see Kim, but, she probably made the smart decision for her. That's a disappointment. Now, I'm going to turn the actual playing disappointments over to you.
Well, what I will say about Kim is, hey, she has at least been out there enjoying herself and watching enough matches, because every time it seemed like they showed a women's match, they look up in the stands and there's Kim, and she's chilling out there. She's like, yep, I'm watching y'all.
well, like they said, you got two choices. You can either be at the stadium or you could be in the hotel.
That's right. And so she chose to be in the stadium. She's like, I'm gonna watch and see what y'all doing. But it just starts. I don't even understand or know where to start. I mean, just the fact that first round, and I think you and I had even talked about it. First round with Sloane and Garcia. I'm like, really?
They couldn't both lose.
They can both lose. And so, but Caroline, to her credit, she got out there and she was just like, I'm going to take it to you. And I know you are not confident right now. So I'm just going to take it to you and we'll see what happens. And sure enough, Sloane she did not step up. And I don't understand what is happening with her and her game. It just seems like she's super flat right now and just has no energy to get around the court, use her athleticism and her overall just intelligence of the court to win matches. She's just not willing to put in the work, it looks like, B. And it's disappointing, man.
And you say right now, but in truth, it's really been for the last, year and a half.
Yeah. It's been like I said, I still feel, and I will continue to say this, I feel as though that French Open had a lot more mental damage to her than was let on. I think she really, really lost a lot of confidence and a lot of herself after she lost that French Open when she was up a set and maybe even a break in that second set of the French. And Halep came back and stole it from her. Because, to that point, I don't think Sloane had lost the final.
All I'm going to say, though, is that, you know what? This is where your professionalism needs to step up.
That's true.
You were referring to the French Open back in, 2018?
Mm-hmm.
2018, we in 2020.
I know.
And my thing is, I understand. Look, I know how bad losses are, but you take yourself to Baskin & Robbins, you get yourself some ice cream, and you get over it, right?
Exactly. Go eat your way through it and be done.
Right. And like I said about FAA, at a certain point, although the responsibility still lies with the player, you got to start giving the coach a little side eye.
Right. Exactly.
Because obviously, and we love Kamal Murray, but there's something that's not translating between his coaching and motivation for Sloane.
Right. Something's not clicking. Something is not clicking. Oh, and just in, Drake has just messaged us and said Osaka pulled out.
I'm not surprised. I'm telling you.
Yeah, go ahead.
People are not trying to play up until the day before the U.S. Open.
No, not unless your fitness is just automatically right on and tight. And, so I ain't mad at her for doing that. I mean, I don't know the circumstances of why she pulled out, but if it's just for the sake of conserving her energy and herself for the U.S. Open, I'm good with that. I don't have any issue with that at all. Oh, for social justice issues. Oh, interesting. I'm going to have to read up on that, Drake.
Oh, well, and that makes sense because we have seen that Osaka has been very involved.
Yes, she has.
In the social kind of injustice areas. So that makes a lot of sense. And for those that are unaware, even tonight, due to the senseless shooting of the African-American man in Wisconsin, they canceled all of the NBA playoff games for the night.
That's
And
right.
that originated from, I think, the Milwaukee Bucks first said that they weren't going to play. And then I think Oklahoma and maybe Houston said they weren't going to play. And then the NBA Players Union came out and said, you know what, we're just going to go ahead and shut this down for the night. So, so I'll tell you what, there are a couple, and I know this is kind of going off of us talking about the tournament, but there are some people right now in the sports world that I am gaining a lot of respect for off the court. LeBron James, whatever, he'll never be Jordan to me, but, I
Right.
recognize he's a great player and all that, but he's not Jordan. But I am so impressed with the stances that he takes.
Yeah.
Personally, and I mean, I respect him so much more as a person than basketball. Coco Gauff, Osaka, they've been really out there in front of some of this stuff, because I don't care what you say, whether you want to be or not, when you're in one of these entertainment fields, whether it's sports or music or, the movies or whatever, you are automatically viewed, you have a platform, and you're automatically viewed kind of as a role model, or people look to see what you do. And there are some people that shy away from that. Some people, don't want all that. But applause to the people that go out there and they try to make best use of their platform. And I got to give that to Coco Gauff and to Osaka for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely agree, man. I mean, you just, you got to stand for for what you feel is right. And just, for those young ladies to be so clued in is just, to me, a blessing. It's a wonderful thing. And so that's all you can hope for is, folks using their platform for things that they believe in. So, I'm, that's good stuff. Just, yeah. Yes.
So we'll get back to the people. So in terms of who's looking good and who's not looking good, so someone else that is looking good right now, is Miss Victoria Azarenka.
Yeah, how about Vika?
I don't think she took too kindly to 40-year-old Venus Williams putting the smackdown on last week. And she said, no, I ain't got no time for that. So she has been delivering her own SmackDown this week, and she is currently in the semifinals.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that is going to do so much for Azarenka. Again, these points will help her to move up, which is, again, to me, Azarenka, Grand Slam, former Grand Slam champion. There is no reason why her game and why her ranking shouldn't be somewhere in the top 20. Right. So the fact, so it just, I'm happy that she's getting these results, and hopefully it will push her, it will push her in the right direction. But yeah, I think she definitely took that SmackDown from Venus as a wake up call and motivation of, what, y'all ain't gonna just mistreat me like this now. Damn it, I do own some Grand Slams. You're not gonna do this to me.
That's true, and that's good to see, because I do like Azarenka. Now, if we're talking about her section of the draw, okay, so let me just go ahead and start with the number 7 seed that got out of the first round because she had a bye.
Right.
But then she met Jabber. And I'm talking about Madison Keys. I'm telling y'all, y'all going to listen to me one day about Madison.
Oh, Madison.
And I told somebody, when I saw that she was playing Jabber in the next round, I said, ooh, Jabber going to eat that up.
Yeah, I mean, and especially since, Jabber was like, listen, I am not impressed with all that power that you own. I got tricks. Do you not understand? I got tricks. And man, Madison was not ready whatsoever. So yeah, that was a SmackDown for sure. Yeah. I mean, but you know what? Hopefully she'll reset and get herself right and come back next week for the Open. But yeah, But I tell you what, Ons Jabeur is nothing to play with.
She is not.
She to me is going to make her way up to that top 10 as well. I mean, if she keeps on the road that she's on, yeah, because I just feel like her game she has so much variety in her game. It is just insane. I really, really like her, and I like her game. So, yeah, man. But I tell you what, Victoria Azarenka wasn't scared of her today.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, once again, a good win for Azarenka.
Yeah, for sure.
We know that wasn't a cakewalk.
Exactly.
But the other person I want to talk about in that section was the number 2 seed, the 2020 Australian Open champion, Sophia Kenneth. And I just want to say, I watched Kenneth doing World Team Tennis, and she didn't look great to me there. And so I was thinking, well, it's World Team Tennis, so, you know.
Yeah, she'll bounce back. She'll be all right. Yeah.
You always have to kind of watch these first-time Grand Slam winners and see how they respond to being a Grand Slam champion and the new expectations. I mean, I think we thought because she has such a great level of kind of focus and concentration that she might kind of, pound her way through it. We'll still see how she does at the U.S. Open. Right. But, she's not kind of firing on all cylinders yet. So,
yeah, but I tell you what, Bryce, I have a feeling that match that could have been more of a match up as well, because Alizé Cornet, she I don't think gets a lot of the credit that she deserves, because she's kind of a rough customer. She's mentally crazy, of course, but she's a rough customer. And remember, and they pointed this out on Tennis Channel as well. Remember, she was the one that beat Serena 3 times in a row, even though I think that a couple of those things, Serena was just like, yeah, whatever. But you know what I mean? But still, you can say that you have you had 3 straight victories in a row against Serena Williams. That says a lot. And it speaks to her game. She's a very kind of feisty player. She knows how to just hang in there and frustrate you to the point where you just, aren't playing your top level tennis. And so I don't know if that was really the case for Sophia or not. It seemed like she was a bit up and down, like you were saying. And it could be, again, just the, coming off of your first Grand Slam or what have you. But that was a tough first round matchup. And so we'll see what she has to actually bring in the U.S. Open. But, yeah, she's looking a little, not at her top, if you will, not as fiery, and I was kind of expecting that a bit, but yeah, that unfortunately wasn't the case for her. But and yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was just gonna say, kind of continuing on with the disappointments. I was very disappointed at how Venus looked. I mean, I thought Venus looked so good in Lexington the week before.
Yeah.
And then, but this is what I've been saying, over the last, I don't know how many years, you'll get glimpses of old Venus.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll get excited and you'll think, is she back? Is she going to do a little something? And that match with Yastremska, and don't get me wrong, Yastremska ain't nobody to play with either.
Right.
I mean, she's definitely one of who I would call next gen on the women's side. But the way Venus was playing last week, she should have won that match.
Right. She really should have. I mean, like I said, if that Venus had showed up, I definitely, in my opinion, would have won. And like I said, it wasn't like it was horrible play from her, but it wasn't. It just, I don't know. There were some areas where she definitely could kind of work it out. But I tell you what, Bryce, I'm not as concerned though about her on this one. Because like I said, because she did look so good in Lexington, she came in here, courts are faster, so on and so forth. She'll adjust. I actually think that she'll bring a better game once the U.S. Open starts. I think that she'll be cool. I'm going to be honest with you, bruh. I'm very, very, very concerned about Sister Serena, though. And here's my reasoning why.
Wait, before you get on Serena though, since we were talking about your sister.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I want to make sure that we say we know who wasn't going to lose to your sister. All right.
Yeah. Naomi Osaka was like, you know what?
You look hungry. And for those of you that don't know, when Naomi Osaka said she wasn't happy after becoming number 1 in the world and winning 2 Grand Slam titles, she gave her coach Sasha, ex-hitting partner of Serena, the boot.
Yes.
And he is now coaching Yastremska. Mm-hmm. And so we knew there was no way. Osaka would have sprained both her ankles and both her arms in trying to beat Yastremska. So we knew that was going down. But anyway.
No, you're right about that. We don't want to undersell that, because that to me was hilarious. When I saw that, I was just like, okay, she is definitely sending a message. And I tell you what, I liken that to my boy Andy Murray and what's his name? What was his former coach's name? Daniel or I can't remember what his name is, but I remember he coached Grigor Dimitrov for a little bit, and he coached somebody else for a little bit, and Andy Murray just constantly put them things on him, and he was just like, "You will not beat me." And and I guess that's how Osaka took it. She was like, "Sasha, I don't care who you with. I'm going to smack them up and down. I will not let you beat me."
and I bet you even her social injustice stance, if she had to meet Yastremska tonight, she'd played tonight.
Oh, yeah. She'd have played her and smacked her up and then be like, okay, I'm good. Social justice. I'm there now. Shoot. Hear me, man. But yeah, definitely got to point that one out. And quietly, okay, and yeah, even before Serena, we need to talk about how Coco Gauff meekly went out in the first round as well.
Oh,
yeah. Now, see, I'm still used to calling her Sakari, but apparently her name is pronounced Zachary now. So it's like, okay, Zachary, which just makes me mad because I like Sakari. That sounds better to me. But anyway,
ghetto, right?
Yeah, it sounds ghetto, right? Now, that's how I like to pronounce things. But anyway, I'll try and be right by her. And Miss Zachary, she put them things on Coco Gauff. She was like, listen, ain't nobody scared of you. Little teenager. You might scare some of these other women around here, but it ain't gonna be me, and not today. And she gave her that breadstick and was like, "Yes, this is how I play tennis." So now you go focus on doubles now, because I got things I need to do in this tournament. Right. And that is then what we can lead into that Serena Zachary match.
Yes.
Bryce, and this is why, for me, I am very, very, very concerned about our girl Serena. And here is why.
Uh-huh.
So I have a feeling that what's going on is in the camp, what have you, they've looked back and they're just like, yo, you done lost these 4 Grand Slam finals. Mentally, you need to start thinking about maybe putting yourself in those positions and just kind of telling yourself, okay, I'm in a Grand Slam final right now. What would I do to pull out these points? What would I do? And this is just Isaac's, just what I think is happening. She's starting to think that way. What do I need to do in order to get over that hump, put myself in that situation and mentally succeed and get over the hump, if you will? So I believe she kind of is putting her mindset there. So that way, she can kind of figure out what it is that she needs to do to get those W's. And when she doesn't do it, she gets frustrated. And to me, that is what was happening during that match against Sakari. In the second set, I believe Serena mentally was like, okay, I'm challenging myself. I can win this match. I'm putting myself in that mental space. I'm going for number 24. And she didn't get it done. And I think after that happened, she just was like, I am totally pissed off. And I have never, in my life at least, Bryce, and I've watched probably 97% of Serena's matches her entire life, I have never seen Serena tank. But I tell you what.
She tanked last night.
That 6-1 set, and she better be glad she got that one game. Otherwise, we'd be talking about a bagel.
Still got fed.
She still got fed, though, exactly. But I'm telling you, when she got up in there and she was serving, she was just like, I don't give a damn. I don't want to be here. She was just serve, hit, either winner or error. And I was like, wow. I've never seen Serena play like this. I've always, anytime she's been on the court, it's like she fights. And that was one of the first times where I was just like, mentally, you saw her give up. And that, in my opinion, is just very, very scary. I don't know how you felt about it, but for me, I didn't like the look. I don't want that for her. And, it just, I don't know. It was just very disappointing in my eyes.
Well, for me, I guess what I didn't like is, like you're saying, I didn't like the look because there are very few players that get to the point where they become a brand that transcends their sport.
Right.
And especially in a sport of tennis as a woman of color.
Right.
And my concern is that you already kind of have this group of people that they like to key on, the issues she's had at the U.S. Open, and they say she's a brat and she shows poor sportsmanship, and she's a mom now, right?
Yeah.
And everything, and so you can't always control the ball going in, but you can always control the effort that you give.
That's right.
And when she started, because remember, she didn't start tanking like halfway through or at the end of the set.
No, it was at the beginning.
Exactly. And I can understand you being disappointed not winning that second set after you let it go.
Right.
You were serving for the match.
Mm-hmm.
You let it go.
Mm-hmm.
But it was not a good look. And I agree with you. It did not make me – I already didn't feel great about every single match she's played since she's come back has been 3 sets.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm hoping is she's doing this whole peekaboo thing, and people are thinking one thing, and she's going to come out at the U.S. Open and be ripping the felt off the ball and beating people each round.
Right.
But I don't know, because it just wasn't it didn't give me a whole lot of confidence. So
no, I pray that she's playing peekaboo, because we know Serena. She's done it before. Remember when she had that one period of her career where she was trying to be Miss 3-set queen, where she would just basically kind of throw away the second set. She'd win the first set, kind of do anything she wanted the second set, and then she'd mount this, what you would call a wonderful comeback in the third set. So she does this, and we know that she does this. But I just, like I said, that was something that I had never seen. And it was just a bit shocking and surprising to me. And I'm just hoping that it doesn't speak to her mental state. Because, again, if she wants to get 24 at this juncture, man, it is all mental, in my opinion. I just think that her game is there. I mean, she proved that when she played Venus. That was just a wonderful, wonderful match. It was really, really well played on both sides. So we know Serena has that second gear and that third gear and whatever gear that she wants to go to. But to me, it's about the mental. And that, to me, is where I saw a crack when she was playing Zachary. Is that, to me, was more of a mental crack than anything else. And it's just something that, no, just not a good look. Anyway.
And once again, because we're talking about continued issues with her winning, I mean, my eyes getting kind of side on the coaching side, because when they showed him in the stands while she was acting up on the court.
That's because he was scared. He was like, shit, let me not know. Don't say nothing. Mm-mm.
Right. I mean,
she might jump up in this stand and start jolly-whopping. Mm-mm.
Yeah, so I'm going to be so number one, I'm going to be very interested to see what her draw looks like.
Yes.
And because one of the things we have to remember, in all of these 3-set matches she's been playing, she ain't really played nobody. I mean, I think Zachary is the highest ranked person she's played.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
So, I mean, if you going down to the wire with all these other people, what's going to happen when you playing a Sophia Kenneth or a Kvitova or Osaka or, you know?
Right. Yeah, man. We will see. Yeah, we will definitely have to see. But like you said, I hope she's just playing peekaboo.
Right. So, what it looks like we have in terms of the semifinals is on the bottom half, we have Azarenka will be playing Konta because Konta told Sakari, look,
All right.
I ain't gonna fall for this name change thing that you got going on all week. I'm just gonna come on and put this beat down on you real quick.
Exactly.
And I'll see you next week. But we got Azarenka will be playing Konta, and now I guess Mertens gets to the final.
Gets to the final, yeah. Because if Osaka pulled out, then yeah, Mertens is in the final. So there you go. And kudos for her for giving some bread to Pagula, because Pagula's been playing some good ball. So the fact that she, Mertens was able to give her some bread and get out 1 and 3, that's pretty impressive.
Well, and before we kind of wrap this up, I do want to acknowledge Pagula's wins. I mean, she beat Jennifer Brady in the first round.
Yep.
Who won the Lexington Open last week.
Right.
Where people were contemplating, was she the next person to win a Grand Slam title? She got to get out of the first round of the Western Southern first. Then she beat Anna Samova, who I reminded people has a nice solid game, but don't have the eye of the tiger yet. And then I was really impressed with her win over Sabalenka.
Yeah, that was really impressive, because to me Sabalenka is a big hitter, playing some pretty good tennis, and she's somebody I do believe watch out for her in the U.S. Open draw.
Right, absolutely. So we've had some good tennis. We have a little more good tennis to go here in the next couple of days, but for those of you that are not used to our normal pattern, we always do, for all the major tournaments, we always do a pre-show, a prediction show, a preview show, however you want to call it. We also do a midweek show. We talk about the results from the first week, and we kind of update our predictions for the second week. And then at the end, we do a wrap-up show. So the draw should be coming out, Isaac, tomorrow or Friday?
Tomorrow, Friday, yeah, something like that, exactly.
So what we'll be doing is we will go on Instagram Live, and we will be on Locker Room, and we will be recording it as a podcast, our preview show. And we're going to try to get that out at least by Monday, the first day of the tournament. So everyone can go out there and listen to that and listen to how wrong we're going to be with our predictions.
Exactly. Oh, man.
So Isaac, and this has been one of our longer episodes, but we know that was because we wanted to call out and celebrate this 1-year anniversary. Any final words you want to say for today?
Oh, man. No, a couple of things I will say. Just once again, just really happy and excited about this 1-year anniversary. Cling with the glasses and champagne. Yeah. Proud of what we've accomplished and what we will accomplish going forward. So there's that. And I guess the only other thing that I will mention for those of you who are listening, don't forget to go and get your merch. Go on ahead, get to brothersuntennis.com. It's on the shop page. Stop playing around. Get you some shirts, get you some hats, get you a little hoodie, a sweatshirt. It's out there. It's for you. Rock your Brothers on Tennis gear. So I will say that. Please go out and do some shopping.
I don't think I've seen Howard or Mitchell go out there and buy anything yet.
All right. You better call it out.
They'll hype us up on the show. But, you can hype me up by opening up your wallet, and buying, some Brothers on Tennis merch. We're already giving people 15% off.
15%
by the end of the month. So, we need to go out there and make that happen.
Oh, but outside of that, brother, that's all I've got. How about you, man? Any final thoughts?
Nah, nothing additional. I think we've said everything that needed to be said. Just, great first year. Really looking forward to the second year. And we appreciate all of the love and the support that we've received thus far. So, as a reminder, we are available on every major podcast platform out there. Our website is brothersontennis.com, and that's BRUTHAS on tennis.com. We're on Locker Room. We're on IG Live if you feel like you want to look at us while we're talking. I wouldn't recommend that, at least on me.
Right.
And, we look to continue bringing you some good stuff going into the next year. So with that, we'll be signing off here. This has been your boy Bryce.
And this is your boy Isaac.
And we're Brothers on Tennis. Everyone have a wonderful week. Talk to you soon.